Welcome back to the Garden of Enders. Today is going to be a special clip. It's going to be quick, it's going to be simple, but it is for all of you pepper growers out there who are just unsure of how to get the most out of your peppers. And today we're going to show you. So stay tuned. Alright, so the big thing is understanding how to get the most out of your pepper plants. And in a perfect world, you would get 3 good yields, meaning your peppers would flower, they would produce, they would flower, they would produce, and then they would flower and produce. And so that's a perfect world. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to help you first-timers get to that point just yet, but I want to help you get at least the most out of what you've got going on right now. Now, we're in Zone 6B, and so it is the perfect time. If you should have already planted your pepper plants. If you haven't, get them in the ground now. But if you have, I'm going to show you a little tip, a little trick that will help your pepper plants really, really produce. And it's going to scare you at first, but let me show you. Alright, so the first things that you're going to need, I like to keep some alcohol. I know depending on where you are right now, alcohol may be hard to find, being it's a cleaning supply and we're in the middle of a pandemic. If you don't, it's fine. It's not the end of the world so much with pepper plants, but I use it just in general every time I cut, because before I cut another plant, I don't want to cross-infect. If this one particular plant had any type of disease, I would then be transferring it to the next plant, and you can potentially really ruin your plants one by one doing so. So if you don't, it's not the end of the world. However, I use it. So what I'll do is I'll get a little bit on my cloth here, so that way I have it, and then like I said, after each cut, I will wipe it down, and I even do it beforehand, just in case on the last time before I put them away, I might have forgot to wipe them before closing it. Alright, perfect example. I have a jalapeno plant back here. As you can see, they're very small. I didn't plant them that long ago. Now, if you notice, what do we've got here? We've got some jalapenos, and they are growing, and many of you are like, oh my gosh, I've got peppers, I'm so excited. So what I'm about to tell you will probably shock you. Pepper plants are not trees, they're more of a bush style plant, and in order to get the most out of it, the more stems and the more leaves you have, the more peppers you're going to get, because the more flowers are going to come. If I were to let this pepper plant continue to grow right now, these two, and pepper plants tend to Y, so look for the Y, sometimes they're 3, sometimes more, but they're at least 2. It will Y, and these will get long and they will get spindly, and the plant will not support the weight that's going to come to it, and you just won't get a really huge harvest from it. You may get 3 yields, but you won't get full yields. You'll get minimal amounts. Now, if you're that gardener that doesn't want a lot of peppers and you just don't feel like it, then don't, and that's fine. But what you're going to do is, again, you're going to, it's going to be crazy, right? You want to make sure when you, because I'm going to cut this, okay, that's what we're getting to here, right? You want to make sure that you have some leaves below. So I want to make sure that when I cut this plant that there are enough leaves to bring in nutrients from the sun, or excuse me, light from the sun to produce nutrients and keep the plant going. So I am going to ordinarily, and look, I just cut it, right? And some of you are like, oh my gosh, you had another pepper. I promise you by doing so, you're going to get more peppers in the long run. Normally I would cut it under the Y, but I don't have a lot of really good leaves. As you can see, this leaf is going to fall off. So I want to make sure that I leave this plant with enough leaves to be able to continue to grow. I don't want to kill it. So I'm going to cut it above the Y. That is what I'm going to do to that pepper plant. Now what's going to happen? It's going to send a signal. Stop growing up and start growing out. And in a week or so's time, you're going to see a bunch of new sprouts come up, and this thing is going to start to fill out more. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to top all of my plants, whether I have peppers or I don't, And I'll probably save these. These are a little, they're small, but we may see what they taste like just to see. I don't think they're far enough along, but it's a fun little why not. So anyways, that's what I'm gonna do. I've got quite a few pepper plants to do. Some of my smaller pepper plants that really struggled with transplant shock and are finally starting to shoot out green leaves at the tip, I will not be pruning them. I don't want to overstress an already stressed plant. So again, you want to make sure you've got ample amount of leaves. Make sure they're good leaves. At least 3 leaves. And as you can see, I left a few more. But if your plant is already stressed or it's in transplant shock, don't do this yet. Give it some time. You don't want to overstress the plant because it's then just going to die, and you're going to respond to me in my comments, I did what you said and my plant died. No, your plants need to make sure that they are healthy. About a week ago, I did a nitrogen, an all organic blood meal, sprinkle on top, a top dressing, and so these plants have had some growth, as you can see, hence I'm getting jalapenos. So I know it's time to do it. All right, guys.
Sorry, you have an ant on
I have an
shoulder.
ant on me. I'll check back with you when I'm done. All right, so as you can see here, we had quite a few trimmings come off. And listen guys, I promise you, like, some of you are gonna see this as you go to top your tree. As you can see, I cut it underneath of the Y. That's the Y in the stem I'm talking about. Your plant will come up and it will Y, or sometimes it's 3, but I mean, there's a lot of buds, and you're probably going, and again, you're probably looking at it going, oh, why would you cut that? I promise you, if you do this now, you will get way more out of your plants in the long run. And you will see, I'll show you, this is what will happen. If you look, I'll have a zoom in right there. If you look at this pepper plant, do you see all of the new growth in between, like in the armpits and everything? So that's what happens, and this was topped, but it shows you that's what's going to happen to all of these and yours by topping it. But it's going to take some time. You want to just, again, make sure you leave some leaves. And again, perfect example, I've got a stressed plant back here. I didn't touch it. I'm not going to touch it. It ultimately needs to be topped, but it's not the right time. So I don't want to kill it. So that's my little tip and trick for you on how to get the most out of your pepper plants. So do it, you'll reap the rewards. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much. As always, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, tune in. We look forward to seeing you guys back. Take care.